Hey, if you are watching this, first of all, on behalf of Emily and I and More Than Sparrows, we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time and your effort and your precious summer minutes to dedicate to the children of Hall County to feed them. It means so much to us. It really means so much to the communities that you're serving too. And so we want to bring you a little slideshow of the Hall County School District guidelines. And really, these are federal guidelines to follow just to feed the kids. It sounds complicated. Emily and I have been trained to, and I can promise you that even though it may sound a little complicated, once you get through the initial paperwork, it will be just fine. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly and just talk about some of the guidelines for feeding kids. We're so thankful to Hall County Nutrition this year for providing free meals for our kids. In the past, More Than Sparrows has provided this, and so this is a huge blessing for our ministry. We're going to be able to do some other things and have some other opportunities because of Hall County providing food for us. However, there are a couple of stipulations that we have. So basically, you have been assigned, if you are taking over a Reading Rocket stop, you've been assigned a lunchroom, and then you will go to that coordinating school's lunchroom and pick up portable lunches from that cafeteria manager. And so just a few kind of guidelines to understand. Anybody from the ages 0 to 18 may eat at no cost. You can hand a lunch to a baby. If there is a mother who, looks like her baby might want a food, wink, wink, you can hand it to the baby. Second meals for students and kids are $3.05. We've never had a student ask for an additional meal. It is a possibility that it could happen. If there is a parent or an adult that wants food, we are going to cover that. So just go ahead and provide them with food, but please document that so that More Than Sparrows can write that down to pay for that adult meal later. And that will be $3.55, but we're going to cover that lunch, and we're just going to write the county a check at the end of the summer. So with this, one of the things that's a little bit different, instead of taking the lunch and leaving the rocket, students are required to eat on site. They are not supposed to take the meal with them and go home. Now, the difference here is if there is a heat advisory in effect, they can take it home. Now, this week that I'm speaking to you in is the 1st of June, and it's a little cooler than it was last week. However, we do know that this is Georgia. It gets very hot. If you'll just check your Weather Channel app or check, whatever weather app you use, if there's a heat advisory in effect, kids can go ahead and take those home. I would say most of our days, kids will be able to take those lunches home. Buses have to stay at the stop for 15 minutes. That's not a problem. The Reading Rocket will be there for 15 minutes anyway. And so with this, this is what's coming into the lunch. They are all on Tuesdays, I believe it's an Uncrustable, or it may be vice versa. One day will be an Uncrustable and one day will be a cold cut sandwich. There will be heated bags that are going to carry fries and baked beans, and then in the cold bags you'll have the Uncrustable bags with either a carrot dipper or broccoli dipper and apples, and then condiments. And so those will be in those. If you've ever eaten at a school lunchroom, they have clear bags with the lunches already in them, ready to go. And so those will be what you hand out to the students. And then if they want the extras, they can get them. Most cafeteria workers are intuitive enough to know that they probably don't need to pack a whole bunch of baked beans, because kids are probably not going to eat them. They will pack you some, but probably not every kid is going to ask for them. If they just pick up a bag, that's perfect. That's their reimbursable meal. If they ask for the sides, or if they want the sides, give them the sides. They don't have to take the sides for it to be a complete meal. The bag will suffice. However, if they want the sides, please offer them because they can take them. All right, so there are 2 forms to fill out. It does sound a little overwhelming, but I promise you that it's not much more overwhelming than you need 110 slices of cheese, you need X amount of pieces of bread, you need this many pounds of cold cuts. So it's a different system, but it's really not very difficult. So there is a form called the food transport form, and when you go to pick up the meals, the cafeteria manager will have this ready to go for you. And the cafeteria manager will have the top of this form filled out for you. And so what you'll need to do here, and I put it in bold, is count the leftovers and write that on the form. And then you need to fill out how many meals were served to kids 0 to 18, and then someone will need to sign it. So I even put a picture of this in here for you. So the site name will be where you take it on the mobile route. So let's say you are going to Highland Terrace. Well, then you would write Highland Terrace there, and then you would fill all, the cafeteria manager will fill all this out, and then you will go ahead and you don't have to worry about temperatures. That's not your responsibility to fill out. Everything else will be taken to you. So you're going to sign at the bottom saying that you're transporting these items essentially. All right. Then there's a meal count form. You will fill out this form, and really what this does is exactly what you think it's going to do. You're going to count how many meals you hand out. So if there's a volunteer handing out meals, you'll probably need another volunteer just marking how many lunches you have handed out. We right now are saying 30 lunches per stop. Now we're getting numbers, so it could vary, and we will put the numbers on the sheet and let you know how many lunches you're supposed to have. So basically, you'll just need to count how many you hand out. So the meals prepared should match, or the meals received should match the meals prepared, obviously. So as kids pick up stuff, just cross out the numbers, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about here with the form. So if you'll look, as kids receive a meal, so like first kid comes up, mark number 1, second kid comes up, mark number 2, and so on and so forth. This is pretty easy to do, and obviously you would circle lunch here for the L, and then same thing here. As a contact, we hope that you would be able to, this is not too complicated, I don't think, to fill out. So obviously we're not going to be serving like 151 meals to kids. A lot of these forms are probably for things like mobile sites where they're serving huge neighborhoods or, things like that. But please do mark how many non-program adults, which would be a program adult is someone who perhaps would work on the Reading Rocket or things like that. If a kid asks for a second meal, you document that there and put your total here, things like that. And then you'll put your total meals served on the sheet. So really, this is just a counting document. You're going to count how many meals you served. Like I said, we're not expecting a ton of second meals to be served. There will probably be a few adults serve lunches. If they ask, please give them a lunch because we want to take care of them too. Leftovers. If there happens to be leftovers, these can be taken to Good News at Noon, My Sister's Place, Gateway House, Family Promise, anything close by, a charity that's close by. You're more than welcome to take those and leave them there. And so if there are any students who, heaven forbid, we don't have enough meals, one of the things that the nutrition coordinator mentioned is that you can actually go back to your school feeder site. They will give you more meals and you can take them back if that ends up being a problem. But if there is not enough, you can tally it at the bottom of the page. We're hoping to get numbers as accurate as possible so that every kid has a meal. And we're hoping we can get them as accurately as possible so we don't have a ton of leftover meals either. We want to be spot on accurate. So with this, if there's any questions, any concerns about these two forms, they look a little daunting and intimidating, but they're really not. So let's go back over them really quick. The first one is where you're going to pick up the food that you're transporting, and then you're just documenting how many of the different portions you have. Your cafeteria manager is going to fill out the top part of this. And then the second form is the meal count form, where you're going to be able to take these meals and document how many kids receive meals, how many program adults, meaning volunteers riding the Reading Rocket, or non-program adults, which would be just any adult who comes to the Rocket that wants a meal. And then second meals are also documented on here. So basically, you're just documenting how many people got a meal. And you're going to write this on this form and sign it. The paperwork and the coolers and the heating trays or heating packages, I'm not using the correct word for those. Sorry, it's early in the morning. But those materials need to be taken back to the lunchrooms. You can leave those in the front office if you'd like. And if you would also like, you're more than welcome to take them and leave them in the front office and then take a picture of these documents and send them to me or Emily. If you have any questions, you can contact me, you can contact Emily, and then you can also contact Sarah Sheridan, who is the Hall County Nutrition Director, who led us through this training. Cafeteria workers are a blessing. They are always willing to help. So you can always ask the cafeteria workers when you go to your pickup school if you need additional help and guidance. And I've had to fill out forms like this before for field trips, and I found our cafeteria ladies are heaven sent, and they're nothing but amazing to us. So I hope this has been instructive and helpful as you take meals out to the kids of Hall County. Just remember, you're feeding kids. A little bit of paperwork is worth a full belly, and we hope that you will appreciate Hall County for this. And thank you so much. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for your time, for volunteering your time and effort. Have a good day.